Ladies and gentlemen, greetings and namaste from Nepal to all our distinguished guests who are here physically and also everyone who are with us from around the world participating virtually in the fifth evaluation conclave of Community of Evaluators South Asia in the Evaluation Conclave 2024 with the theme Equity and Transformation Evaluation in the Challenging Time. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the matter of pride that we all are here despite of our very busy schedule. And to make our event very successful, I would like to thank each one of you for your time, and also we have various supporters from the evaluation partners as well as donors. Thank you, everyone. And since we are going to start the evaluation session, I would like to briefly share about the community of evaluators. The community of evaluators South Asia, COE South Asia, is hosting the fifth evaluation conclave from 12 to 14 October 2022. It is being held simultaneously in 5 countries: in Delhi, India, Nepal, we are physically present here now, and Dhaka, Bangladesh, Thimphu, Bhutan, and Colombo in Sri Lanka, and everyone of them are participating in the hybrid mode. The COE South Asia is the South Asia's largest network of evaluators and a platform for evaluators to interact and engage with one another. COE provides opportunities for sharing experiences, knowledges, capacity development, networking advocacy, developing protocols and standards for evaluation in South Asia. And COE Nepal, established in 2010 in Kathmandu as a non-profit, non-governmental, and non-partisan organization, aims to increase the quality of evaluation by building capacity and promoting the theory and practices and use of evaluation in Nepal. COE Nepal works closely with the National Planning Commission, the government of Nepal, for promoting equity for transformative evaluation process in the country and support the global community as well. COE South Asia, despite the COVID-19 pandemic and the challenges it brought to the entire process of evaluation and to the livelihoods of the people, we have named the theme of its 2022 conclave as Equity and Transformation Evaluation in the Challenging Times. By focusing in the 5 sub-themes, they are namely evaluation in the times of crisis, evaluation for transformative changes, fostering governance, accountability, credibility, and transparency, evaluation of public policies, and gender equity and inclusivity. Ladies and gentlemen, the conclave, which is the second of its iteration to be held in Nepal, will feature keynote presentations, panel discussions, which will be followed by skill development workshops. And believe me, today is going to be a very beautiful day in the lap of Himalayas for those who are participating virtually as well, and a very productive day for every one of us who are here, as it is providing us an opportunity to interact, to share, to discuss our evaluation ideas and knowledges. Well, with this background on community of evaluators and evaluation conclave, I take this opportunity to introduce myself. Namaste, everyone. I am Srijana Baral. I am a research and development expert, and currently I'm working in an organization named Forest Action, Nepal, as a senior researcher there, and I'm leading an IDRC funded project called Economic Empowerment of Women through Forest Solutions. I'm honored to be part of this prestigious event. I'm the host for the ceremony too, and I will be hosting this ceremony in cooperation with Ms. Mahendra Lakshmi Sarma, the Treasurer, Community of Evaluators, Nepal. Ladies and gentlemen, as this is the inaugural session, we would begin the session by inviting to the stage our very esteemed dignitaries who have joined us here. Please allow me to extend our warmest welcome to our eminent speakers, panelists, moderators, guests, and participants. The organizers are very proud to have you all here. Now let me invite our guest, honorable guest, to the stage. We are honored with your gracious presence, Honorable Dr. Ram Kumar Fuyal, Member, National Planning Commission, as our chief guest of the program. I would like to invite you to this stage. A very warm welcome, sir. Let me now invite Honorable Ms. Saloni Pradhan Singh, Member, National Planning Commission, as our keynote speaker for the evaluation conclave. We are very eager to hear from you, ma'am. A very warm welcome. I would like to invite Dr. Jagdish Chandra Pokhrel, Vice Chairperson, COE South Asia, and Advisor to COE Nepal, as our chairperson of the program, but due to his health issues, he could not physically attend our program today. We wish you a very speedy recovery, sir. But may I request Dr. Ganapati Roja, Board Member, Community of Evaluators South Asia, and former chairperson and current advisor to COE Nepal, as a co-chairperson for the event today. A very warm welcome, sir. With due respect, I would like to invite Ms. Kanchan Rama, Chairperson, COE Nepal, to co-chair the program today. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us very respected guests and speakers this morning. Let us invite Member Secretary, National Planning Commission, Mr. Keval Prasad Bhandari, as our special guest to the stage. Very warm welcome to you, sir. Further, we have with us Chief Monitoring and Evaluation Division, National Planning Commission, Mr. Dhaniram Sarma. I kindly request you to come to the stage, sir. I invite Assistant Director, Social Welfare Council, Mr. Rajendra Upadhyay, to the stage. Now I take the pleasure to invite Mr. Nicholas McTalk, UNFPA Kathmandu, to the stage. May I have the privilege to invite Mr. Ramesh Tuladar, Advisor and Founder Chairperson, COE Nepal, to the stage. And finally, I would like to invite Mr. Praveen Chitrakar, General Secretary, COE Nepal, and a very important person who is bringing all of us here. He is the country focal point for the Evaluation Conclave 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, let us have a huge round of applause to our distinguished guests seated here in the dais. Now, may I request all our participants, guests, media people, and representatives of groups, volunteers to take respective seats, and huge round of applause to every one of us who are present here and who are making it today. Ladies and gentlemen, as this is the inaugural session of the Evaluation Conclave 2022, we are proceeding by burning the auspicious light as a symbol for spreading knowledge and lights to prosper the people and the Mother Earth. For this auspicious task, let me have a pride in inviting Honorable Dr. Ram Kumar Fuyal, Member National Planning Commission, to inaugurate the conclave by lighting the lamp in the panas. And I request everyone to wish the best for the successful conclave 2022. Thank you, Honorable Chief Guest. With this spread of light and knowledge, may I now invite Mr. Praveen Chitakar, Evaluation Conclave Country Focal Point, to welcome the conclave participants through the opening remarks. Mr. Chitakar.
Mr. President, Honorable Member of National Planning Commission, Dr. Ram Kumar Friya, Honorable Member of National Planning Commission, Ms. Saloni Pravan Singh, Chair of the ceremony, Dr. Ganpati Oza, Co-Chair of the ceremony, Ms. Kanchan Nama, Member Secretary of National Planning Commission, Mr. K.L. Prasad Bhandari, Joint Secretary of National Planning Commission, Mr. Dhaniram Sharma, Assistant Director of Social Welfare Council, Mr. Rajendra Preti, Census Coordinator of UNFPA Nepal, Mr. Nicholas McTurk, the Founder Chair and the Advisor of Shri Nepal, Dr. Ramesh Toladar, panelists of the expert panels, facilitators of skill development workshops, evaluation experts, guests, and all the participants, a warm welcome and namaste. On behalf of Community of Evaluators Nepal and myself, I would like to welcome you all to the Nepal program of the Fifth Evaluation Conclave of Steward South Asia, which is being held from 12 to 14 October. The theme of this year is Economy and Transformation, Evaluation in Challenging Times. The Evaluation Conclave 2022 is being hosted in a hybrid method in 5 countries: India, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. Today, we are here in Kathmandu joining the event physically, and participants from around the world are joining with us virtually. I would also like to welcome all participants, those who are participating online from the globe. Welcome. Now we have more than 100 participants gathered physically from different sectors, including Government of Nepal, more from National Planning Commission, UN agencies, IDRC, NGOs, VOPs, private sectors, evaluation professionals, and young and emerging evaluators. We know the evaluation contributes in making difference to people's life by assessing the relevance of the policies, plans, programs, and processes, by providing evidence on how effectively and efficiently they were implemented, what intended and unintended impacts brought into the people's life. Outcomes have been with better results, and providing guidance for the further course recommendations. We will have an opportunity to now ensure our experiences during this evaluation conclave through plenary sessions, workshops, following the keynote and ceremonial. We in Kathmandu will have 3 plenary sessions and 4 skill development workshops. The plenary sessions and skill development workshops are based on the themes that were chosen for the conclave 2022. Plenary sessions will be an opportunity to discuss on the themes like evaluation for better governments, evaluation in the times of crisis, and ensuring gender equity and inclusivity in evaluation. Likewise, skill development workshops will help build more knowledge on evaluation for transformative change, evaluation for public policies, especially especially for young and emerging evaluators. They really workshop on going into monitoring and evaluations. With the generous support by the donors and the organization, it made it possible for participants to participate through bursaries. For Nepal, we have more than 50 participants who receive bursaries, including both general and young and emerging Evaluators bursaries. I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate to all the bursary recipients. At the end, I once again would like to welcome you all to the Nepal Country Program of the Fifth Evaluation Conclave, and I wish for a successful and fruitful conclave. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chitrakar, for the opening remarks and welcoming all our guest speakers and participants of the program. And as we move forward with the program with the country, we are now very eager to hear from our special guest. With the honor, I humbly request our speakers to be brief, as we all have very limited time with us. So in this line, may I request Dr. Ramesh Tuladar, Advisor and Founder Chairperson, COA Nepal, for your thoughts and remarks.
Good morning and namaste. Chief guest, Honorable Dr. Ram Kumar Suyal, Member of National Planning Commission. Keynote Speaker, Ms. Saloni Pradhan Singh, Member of NPC. Chair of this session, Mr. Dr. Ganapati Vaja, Co-Chair Kanchan Lama, Chairperson of CRDI Nepal, Mr. Nicholas Truss, Census Coordinator, UNFPA, Kathmandu, Mr. Dhaniram Sharma, Chief of Yemeni Division, National Planning Commission, Mr. Rajendra Upreti, Assistant Director of Social Welfare Council. It gives me immense pleasure to be part of this important event, Evaluation Conclave 2022, Equity and Transformation, Evaluation in Challenging Times. This is the fifth Evaluation Conclave organized by COE South Asia, and the third one being held physically in Nepal. First and the second was held in 2013 and 15 respectively, also in Nepal. Nepal has been benefiting since the inception of Southeast COE Southeast Asia. It remained a part and parcel of all evaluation events, including the very first evaluation conclave, which was held in Delhi 2010. Since then, COE South Asia has been organizing several high-quality evaluation events, such as regional meetings, interactive programs, sharing of research findings, evaluation networking meetings, among others. As usual, young and emerging evaluators of Nepal will have opportunity to learn new knowledge in evaluation through keynote, skill development workshops, panel discussions, etc., physically in Kathmandu, as well as to join virtually in parallel programs taking place in Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, and Sri Lanka. Thanks to hybrid method adopted, which made it possible for individual participants for multiple choice. I take this opportunity to congratulate COE Nepal team in organizing this fifth evaluation conclave physically in Kathmandu. Finally, I wish you all very useful to add new knowledge from deliberation this afternoon. Just applaud. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Tuladar. And to proceed further, I would like to invite Mr. Nicholas McDrock from UNFPA Kathmandu, and he is one of the donors for our program today.
Thank you very much. Respected chair of this ceremony, honorable member of the National Planning Commission, current speaker and member of the National Planning Commission, and distinguished guests and participants. As census coordinator and officer in charge of UNFPA Nepal, it is indeed a great honour to be invited to this august gathering of evaluators today. I have been working with data for over 30 years, and with population data through censuses, surveys, and administrative sources such as civil registration of vital statistics for the past 20 years. And so I would like to share some perspectives with you that I think are pertinent to consider for equity and transformation regarding evaluation. As you already know, UNFPA is the United Nations Reproductive Health Agency. In over 150 countries, including across South Asia and here in Nepal, UNFPA supports governments and work with diverse partners to ensure reproductive health and rights, to prevent gender-based violence and harmful practices, such as early marriage and gender-biased sex selection, to ensure young people, especially girls, achieve their full potential in life, in preparation and response to humanitarian crises, and lastly, in the generation of data and evidence to inform policies, plans, and programs around these issues, and to analyze through enhanced digitalization demographic shifts and inequalities. Indeed, data is absolutely critical to UNFPA's work in Nepal, across the region, and around the world. UNFPA is accountable to UN member states and its partners, and most importantly, the women and girls that it seeks to protect and support. In order to understand if our interventions are effective, we need evidence. And for evidence, we need disaggregated and geospatial data, which measures the required indicators, both baselines and subsequent data points, so as to monitor and evaluate our impact, how effective our work is, and how we can modify our interventions to improve effectiveness. This is why UNFPA supports collection of data through censuses, surveys, and administrative sources such as CRDS, civil registration, and especially why monitoring and evaluation is a central component of what UNFPA does. Thus, UNFPA is constantly striving to improve how we support data collection, analysis, and use, and also our internal monitoring and evaluation systems and those of our partners, as we realize that without good, timely, and disaggregated data, we cannot deliver. But this is not without its challenges. Some of the challenges we face are as follows. Firstly, supply of data. We support the government with the census, and this is one of the largest statistical undertakings that any government undertakes, usually once every 10 years, as is the case here in Nepal with the recent 2021 census. And it's important to note that census best practices and technology are always improving. The Nepal census is especially important because it's the first since federalism. But as for other countries in the region and more broadly, the 2020 round of censuses will also be the source data for a large number of the Sustainable Development Goals, especially the population data, which forms the denominators for many indicators, and must also be disaggregated by age and sex and to the local level, so it can be used to its full potential. For censuses, achieving complete coverage is vitally important, as well as to ensure that accurate information is collected on everyone so that the data can be disaggregated fully for all geographical levels. Therefore, the census is critical towards achieving equity in terms of gender equality and social inclusion, development transformation more generally, and is also a critical component of the technological transformation of the statistical system in countries like Nepal. The census here over the next months and throughout 2023 will be used to prepare tables, an interactive database, data visualization tools, population projections, which will be used as denominators at national and subnational levels for the coming decade, to measure and monitor the Sustainable Development Goals and for many other uses. But there are also other sources of data, such as specialized household surveys, and from them small area estimation of key indicators which are not measured in the census, the civil registration system, and other administrative data, as well as for humanitarian preparedness and response, that are all needed for sustainable and equitable development. With this in mind, please note that it's a huge challenge for the government and for development partners to provide all these diverse data to a high quality and in a timely fashion, and to cover all of the population in the country accurately, especially the most vulnerable who are hard to reach. This includes women and girls, children, the disabled, the elderly, migrants, and the poorest in society, and diverse disenfranchised groups. A second challenge concerns the demand for data, which is increasing all the time, not least because of the urgent need for data in a recently federalized country such as Nepal, by governments at all levels for planning and programming, and by a constantly increasing range of other diverse users, including monitoring and evaluation practitioners. And it should be noted that this inevitably leads to some gaps in the availability of the required indicators, and then local governments and other partners seek to fill these gaps themselves to varying degrees of quality and suitability for their intended purposes. This decade, a major area of UNFPA's work with the government and other development partners will be to measure the SDGs. Progress in measuring the SDGs is being made, but this is generally incremental, and 2030 is only 8 years from now. The sheer number of SDGs, 169 targets, 244 indicators, and the fact that even now not all are measurable can be daunting and places an enormous burden on the statistical system as a whole. But it also provides us with the opportunity and impetus to innovate, build capacities, and ensure that equitable development takes place in line with the principles of leaving no one behind. This brings me to the third challenge concerning capacity gaps. These are an issue at all levels, but especially for local levels and development partners working in the field. And we must strive to fill these gaps through training, retraining, retention of knowledge through good documentation, and filling vital human resource gaps as they appear. I would say this is probably the biggest challenge for data collection, analysis, and use for policy planning programming, and of course also monitoring and evaluation. In this context, UNFPA and other development partners are delighted and honoured to be able to support the government of Nepal in enhancing the capacity to measure, analyse, disseminate and use data for NEE to enhance equity, sustainable development and support good governance and accountability in the federal context through capacity building across all levels of government. The COVID-19 pandemic, climate change, humanitarian crises, and situations such as the current financial global downturn demonstrate how uncertain the world is today. However, events such as the pandemic provided the impetus for transformation to increase digitalization of hitherto paper-based processes, as well as to meet the needs for timely data to respond to such crises, which will make our societies more equitable and resilient in the future. Indeed, increasing digitalization provides opportunities, and data and monitoring and evaluation should be at the heart of what we do to overcome these challenges that we face. For this reason, I highly commend the concept of equity and transformation. And I'd like to thank the organisers for the opportunity to speak at this very important event. And I wish you a successful conclave and that you go on to develop and use data effectively in your work to ensure equitable development. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nicholas McTrock from UNFPA Kathmandu for elaborating the significance of monitoring and evaluation and the data sources and data uses for sustainable development and many more. It was a very elaborative to us. Now, ladies and gentlemen, on this Evaluation Conclave 2022 with the theme Equity and Transformation Evaluation in the Challenging Times, we are yet to hear more from our speakers. Further now, may I invite Mr. Rajendra Upreti, Assistant Director, Social Welfare Council, for your remarks and thoughts.
Thank you.
गुड मर्निङ अल नमस्ते। यस कार्यक्रमका प्रमुख अतिथि राष्ट्रिय योजना आयोगका माननीय रामकुमार पोयालज्यू, राष्ट्रिय योजना आयोगका माननीय सलोनी सिंह प्रधानज्यू, कञ्चन लामाज्यू, सहभागी प्रस्तुतकर्ता, आयोजक वर्ग लगायत गण्यमान्य व्यक्तित्वज्यूहरू, यस महत्त्वपूर्ण कार्यक्रममा समाज कल्याण परिषदलाई इन्भिटेसन गरी यो कार्यक्रममा शुभ राख्ने मौका दिनुभएकोमा हार्दिक आभार व्यक्त गर्दछु। खास गरी समाज कल्याण परिषदका सदस्य सचिवज्यू यो कार्यक्रममा आउन चाहनु भएको थियो, उहाँलाई इन्भिटेसन पनि गरिएको थियो र आज प्रधानमन्त्री तथा मन्त्री परिषद कार्यालयमा मनी लन्ड्रिङको अति महत्त्वपूर्ण कार्यशाला गोष्ठीको कारणले सहभागी हुन सक्नु भएन र यो कार्यक्रमको पूर्ण सफलताको कामना सहितको शुभकामना उहाँले दिनुभएको कुरा म यहाँ जानकारी गराउन चाहन्छु। त्यसै गरी समाज कल्याण परिषद यस्ता कार्यक्रम यति महत्त्वपूर्ण कार्यक्रममा समाज कल्याण परिषदसँग पनि धेरै कुराहरू जोडिन्छन्। समाज कल्याण परिषदले देशमा क्रियाशील राष्ट्रिय तथा अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय सङ्घ संस्थाहरूको नियमन, सहजीकरण, अनुगमन, मूल्याङ्कन लगायतका कार्यहरूमा सक्रिय भूमिका खेल्ने निकाय भएकोले समाज कल्याण परिषदले विगतका दिनमा कोरोना महामारीको कारणले 3 वर्षदेखि रोकिएका एभालुएसनका गतिविधिहरूलाई अहिले पूर्ण रूपमा खोलेको छ र हाम्रो 300 भन्दा बढी अनुगमन टिमहरू मोबिलाइज भइसकेको छ र यो क्रम जारी नै छ। यो कुरा म यहाँ जानकारी गराउन चाहन्छु। त्यस्तै गरी हामीले समय सापेक्ष समाज कल्याण परिषदले दिगो विकास लक्ष्य 15 योजना सरकारका प्राथमिकताहरूलाई विशेष ध्यान दिँदै सबै सङ्घ संस्थाका गतिविधिहरूलाई नजिकबाट हेर्दै उहाँहरूलाई सहजीकरण नियमनहरू गरिरहेका छौँ भन्ने कुरा पनि म यहाँ जानकारी गराउन चाहन्छु र समय सापेक्ष यी सबै कुरालाई डिजिटलाइजेसनको माध्यमबाट अगाडि पनि बढाइरहेका छौँ। भर्खरै सम्पन्न सामाजिक सेवा दिवसमा सम्माननीयज्यूले यसको औपचारिक सुरुवात पनि गरिसक्नु भएको बेहोरा म यहाँ अवगत गराउन चाहन्छु। यस महत्त्वपूर्ण कार्यक्रममा आजको दिनभरिको बसाइमा यो अनुगमन मूल्याङ्कन कार्यको लागि एउटा मार्गनिर्देशकको रूपमा सिकाइरहोस्, यहाँबाट निस्केका महत्त्वपूर्ण कन्क्लुजनहरू समाज कल्याण परिषदलाई पनि अध्ययन गर्ने मौका मिलोस् भन्ने कामना अपेक्षा गर्दै यो कार्यक्रमको पूर्ण सफलताको कामना गर्छु। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Mr. Rajendra Uprete, Assistant Director, Social Welfare Council, for his remarks. Let me briefly share what he shared with us to our virtual international participants. He actually shared that the secretary from the Social Welfare Council was very eager to join us this morning. But due to his very busy schedule, he could not make it, and he has sent his best wishes for the commencement of the program. Furthermore, Mr. Upreti shared that SWC has been engaged in this kind of evaluation and monitoring task for a couple of years from the government, and due to the COVID-19, those monitoring and evaluation tasks were hindered, and they have resumed more than 300 teams for the monitoring and evaluation currently. And these monitoring and evaluations are more basically based on the government's 15th plan and the government priorities. And the SWC has been facilitating and working closely with different organizations in the country for the betterment of the country, working in the development and other sectors. And he also wished best for the conclave. Thank you, Mr. Upreti. Now, may I request Mr. Dhaniram Sharma, Chief, Monitoring and Evaluation Division, National Planning Commission, for your remarks.
Mr. Chair, Co-Chair, Chief Guest, Honorable Member, National Planning Commission, Keynote Speaker, Honorable Member of National Planning Commission, respected Secretary, National Planning Commission, distinguished other guests, dear all participants, including those who were virtually connected from different parts of South Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's an honor to be here today in joining this fifth evaluation conclave organized by Community of Evaluation Evaluators South Asia. I would like to express my sincere thanks for providing this opportunity in this morning. Of this conclave, it can be a transformation. It has a very challenging time. Itself is very, it itself promotes the significance of evaluation in the development process. In the understanding and the evaluation contributes to maintaining the equity in the society. Not only challenges created by COVID and other crises, but also establish a basis for post crisis to cope with future crises. The theme itself is very much pertinent. Similarly, the transformation issue, this is also important that evaluation can contribute to transform the society. So those things are very much significant in current situation. Apart from that, the evaluation activities can promote accountability, credibility, and transparency of the development activities. As you all know, National Planning Commission is a key agency in handling evaluation activities in Nepal. As a Chief of M&E Division, I would like to express my commitment to strengthen the evaluation culture in the country. In order to institutionalize M&E, the government has submitted the bill, M&E bill in Parliament. The Parliament has, the tenure of Parliament has been over. I hope the upcoming Parliament upcoming House of Representatives will endorse the bill, and hopefully we will get new amendment bill within this fiscal year to provide the main legal basis for evaluation activities. Similarly, we have just completed 5-year section plan, integrated evaluation section plan, and we have M&E guideline, which is very much a vital document in our context in handling M&E activities. There are some disturbance because of COVID to regularly conduct the evaluation activities, but right now we are ready to regularize this internal external evaluation of the policy program projects. I confess that we are quite behind the evaluation of policies. We have very lack of policy evaluation culture. The NPC must start systematic policy evaluation in the days to come. The NPC is also interested to collaborate with us, regular networking meetings and interactions, share ideas and to update the new developments in this field. In a short experience of organization, we have a lack of response culture, evaluation response culture. I think the key issue is how can we respond the evaluation reports in our next, in restructuring our policies or new policies. If we don't respond from the feedback, then it has no meaning, because evaluation creates the value. So we
we need to adjust those value in the new policies, new programs. So I think in this regard, we should work together with us. NEPAL is ready to work with these issues with the base. The quality of evaluations are another important point. What's our methodology? What's our approaches? What's the approach we are using in the evaluation? I think there are new approaches, new ideas, new methodologies. So we need to internalize those new ideas, new methodologies, and we need to apply those new methodologies and ideas. I think this conference will contribute to create personal evaluation system in the country in the future. So MPC is also active participants in this conclave. Will take part in the plenary session as well as workshop session. So lastly, I wish all the success of this conclave, and with this, I would like to conclude my remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma, for your remarks. Indeed, better evaluations contribute to the well-being of the society and are important for the societal transformation. And thank you for re-strengthening this statement. And he also said that NPC is the key agency for monitoring and evaluation. And today, as we gather here, it is very important for us to realize the evaluation, to realize and make stronger evaluation culture and adopt new ideas, methodologies, and technologies for the monitoring and evaluation. Now, may I invite Mr. Keval Prasad Bhandari, Member Secretary, National Planning Commission, for your thoughts and remarks.
Namaskar, respected chair, distinguished delegates on dais, ladies and gentlemen, presence here and in online platform. Good morning. It is my privilege to speak on equity and transformation. Let's take a pause and analyze how our transformation journey and analyze where we are standing now. How we step ahead with a challenging time. It is the time to analyze how we take policies for the future. Global South has always been chronically poor and needs a massive attention both from economic and social front. Poverty and vulnerability in the countries like Nepal has always been a greater challenge to manage. In the meantime, the COVID-19 impact has been very disruptive and traumatic. This brought multiple interconnected shocks from the spectrum of economic, psychological, and political front. Although we are yet to measure the crisis, but it is believed that there are multiple shocks that has a negative impact to the families, communities across the nation, around the globe. In the meantime, the consequences brought from the political tension in Ukraine has deepened the humanitarian crisis around the globe. The financial measures to control the stagflation by many governments at this moment is not adequate. Who is suffering more? What would be the impact of most vulnerable? Perhaps these are the questions has to address by the global leaders. Who is responsible? Are the countries with poor economy are in the position to provide relief to the most vulnerable? What would be the measures to balance the economy while taking an appropriate measure to manage the relief
to the post-needy families. Isn't it the time to reimagine and reinvent our societies? This is a unique opportunity to develop the measures, how we view our societies, and evaluate how we foresee our development priorities. Ladies and gentlemen, our Constitution upholds the value of human dignity, equity, freedom, social inclusion, social justice, and many more. We are complying our international commitments too. You name it, we have rights of dignity, freedom, equality, communication justice, victims of crime, against torture, against prevention, preventive detention, against untouchable and discrimination, property discrimination, freedom, information privacy, against exploitation, clean environment, education, language, culture, employment, labor, health, food, housing, women, child, public, senior citizen, many. Against implementation of fundamental rights. Although our society and economy demands a massive transformation to manage these fundamental rights, but we are extending all our efforts to deliver the basic services. We made many advancements on constitutional and legal ground and used to efforts best to focus to the advantaged individuals, communities and societies. These advantages individuals, communities and societies. We have many legislation that exhibits our commitment. Despite our several efforts, we experience many natural calamities, including earthquake and negative impact of climate change in the country. A new financial threat as a result of COVID-19 and war at Ukraine is emerged globally. We don't have to clear picture how the social and economic context may look like in the days ahead, but we are managing our best effort to overcome our financial and social responsibilities. The whole development system or the multiple development system must be transformed, but goes on to the note that the world is not on track for achieving the most targets like SDG. With many development priorities, achieving SDG, LDC graduation, fiscal federalization, and addressing climate change is in the core of Nepal's present-day development thrust. While some goals are not on track, others are even going backwards to rising inequalities, climate change, biodiversity loss, increasing waste from human activity, violence, conflicts, and related humanitarian crises causing the displacement of millions of people. We need to make more changes in the way we arrange our economies, our societies, and our politics if we really want to have a better world in 2030, business as usual will not work as a trick. We need to rethink over our development practices and goals. We need to redefine GDP and economic growth-led model of development in the place to see human face in each and every development results. It is not a usual business. The academic practitioners and evaluators, including governments, has to revisit, redesign and re-examine how societies and ecosystems where we stand can be transformed with the great help of our knowledge, skills, and technological advancement. We need better understanding our context and demonstrate to create a credible and visible transformation of humanity. We need better evaluators to reassess our roles and responsibilities. It is, of course, a complex system and task. The conclave like this, one should rethink how we analyze our challenges comprehensively Let's have a more dynamic and robust action and plan to understand our sustainability agenda, including ensuring the responsibility to continue transforming our society, even in the challenge time of crisis. Transformation is not a project or program. Transformational initiatives are not targeted to achieving SMART goals, which is the traditional criterion of effectiveness. Transformation means changing systems, which means dealing with complexity and dynamics in the world characterized by turbulence, uncertainty, and unpredictability and uncontrollability. The focus of evaluation, present day people discuss on evaluand. It is a jargon that things and person being evaluated is transform the system. The need and urgency of systemic change from local to global levels to address the global crisis endangering our future, having discussed the role of evaluation in promoting learning system and transformational change. Ladies and gentlemen, we still have many works to undertake for an equitable social and economical transformation. From National Planning Commission, I assure you that we are happy to modify our working approaches and we are happy to advocate in the international forum. Periodic planning-based development initiative of more than 6 decades, we are still facing several challenges. As in eminent chief of NPC already expressed how we are poor in delivery and what is the capacity gaps in National Planning Commission and where we have to improve with commitment. So I am sure that this conclave brings the conclusion how we act efficiently in the critical time and how critical and unsolved issue of our society will going to address. Let me reiterate again that this is the normal time. This is not the normal time, and we need to act as in an urgency on many interlinked front. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kewal Prasad Bandari, Member Secretary, National Planning Commission. And thank you for highlighting that the transformational journey that we are looking forward to is not that easy. It's a very challenging journey from the global south where vulnerability and poverty come together synonymously. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the very interesting session of the inaugural session. With much enthusiasm, I would like to invite Honorable Saloni Pradhan Singh, Member National Planning Commission, for your keynote speech.
Thank you very much. Chair of this session and co-chair, both of them are my very good friends, Dr. Honorable Dr. Ram Punyal, Honorable Member, Planning Commission as chief guest, secretaries, joint secretaries, and all the esteemed participants all over the world who've been luckily my co-travelers, co-learners, co-evaluators, at the same time culprits in the crime of critical analysis. And I don't know whether the analysis recommendations have been responded well, but we always have been trying. I feel that I should have been there rather than here talking about evaluation. However, thanks to the organizers trusting me to give a keynote approach. I indeed feel very highly honored and delighted to be in this inauguration event of the Fifth, conclave of evaluators. Evaluators from South Asia, and I would say that South Asia covers most of the parts of the world as evaluators. Therefore, we cover the whole world. Greetings. I hope my guru and my friend and my culprit in the critical analysis, Dr. Chamber, is also attending this forum. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers, and also would like to say that in the interest of time, I would like to read some of the things that I have written, because I know as passionate evaluator, I would go longer if I speak off on my head and heart. Both the COE Nepal and COE South Asia, I extend my heartfelt thanks and also hope that this journey will continue. And I would really like to thank that this conclave, which is going to focus largely on to demonstrate evaluation in the context of inclusive and equitable development with transformation, with desired change, and more so in the times of this crisis. We've been living in the crisis. There are certain groups who've always been living in crisis, but collectively, this is the time when we are living in the crisis. As the sub-themes itself suggests, it is a very crucial issue facing all of us here in South Asia and around the world. Our own country, Nepal, has been facing a lot of climate-related natural disasters, and it is our collective duty to mitigate the impacts and the plan for the future. South Asia is prone to all types of disasters being intended to address and discuss in the conclave. So I hope that this conclave will really have a very critical, free, and very rich discussion that would bring about the realities, not only just the flowers that we always desire to come out of. Evaluation stares at the new challenges in the rapidly changing global context, may it be politically, socially, or with different types of crises that we never envisaged. It is even more relevant at present, where we are grappling with the larger question of justice, equity, and transformation in focus while we deal with evaluation in this new normal after COVID-19 pandemic. And we are still facing other different pandemics, even though it's not a global. The dengue pandemic that we are facing here in Nepal might have been affected much more than the pandemic that we faced during the lockdown situation. Even though we are not locked down, it's not that we are not in pandemic. I myself am grappling with this to come out of the effects of dengue. Therefore, innovations and partnerships in the world of evaluation are critical to address. To address the complex socio-economic issues, the restrictions, and the emergence of virtual mode imposed by the pandemic. When I'm with you, my friends, it takes me to the journey that I have been through. I really want to share a little bit. Maybe I've gone emotionally in my reminiscence. My journey as a student, I was a critical student, I know, but at the same time, when I was just a fresh graduate from the university, IDRC and the then approach organized a very important evaluation conference gathering where Dr. Chamber came with his very new exciting concept of rapid rural appraisal, RRA. And then luckily, because the community thought there are no women economists, I happen to be one lucky person to be the only one women representative in the global veterans of evaluators as a naive student, but having a very good understanding of our community at different levels. I happen to be flagging the red flag or rocking the boat, saying that I don't agree with the rapidity or parachuting model of development who come down and settle in a place and learn through the veteran multidisciplinary teams and go with the analysis, which may be very wrong. And then we started discussing about it. The debate went on, and they had to accept the 50% representation. A young girl placed from the university being very vocal on this, that we should make it relaxed rather than rapid and assumption based disciplinary conclusions. Then I still remember Anuj is here right in front of me, who was also a very young economist at that time in the research team of Lumley, and we were in Lumley, we were working together. Then I said, who would take the lead? I said, I will build a cat. So I started doing all this participatory evaluation research, where the chamber, along with a huge group of us here in Nepal, and then it spread all over the world, we started doing this participatory appraisals. It's not only limiting to the rural, but participatory in real terms. Not only, sorry, Nicole, it was not only in the conventional approach of economics and the statistics. We said that the statistics that people know, the way that they compare and they represent it, how they count their counters and comparisons. We started working on this, and Nepal became the pioneer in this, and we started spreading all over the world, and the community is still alive, very alive. And Conclave has most of them who have been co-practitioners, co-learners, co-travelers along with me, and we are part of it. So thank you very much, Ganapati Oja and Kanchan Lama, for bringing me here and taking me to the past journey where we stirred the whole conventional approach and came up with alternatives. And this is what we need at present. However, it is also to be proud of the matter that the process of adapting, mitigating, and stating ourselves in the new normal situation, we have, as I said, that innovated, as we are used to innovating different possible means and potential methodologies in evaluation as our coping strategies. And government of Nepal has also completed and already submitted 2 voluntary national reports on SDGs effectiveness. Despite of all these situations, in the face of the globe, Nepal has done much earlier impacts through VNR performances. Nonetheless, the meta-evaluation is still due to assess its effectiveness. I'm so glad that one among us, the NPC team members, said that we've done lots of evaluation, but we're not sure where we are responding to the recommendations that has come. That is where the crux is. So we definitely need to talk, but talking and walking differently are different, but we need to talk and walk on the talk. Monitoring and evaluation is mandated by Constitution of Federal Republic of Nepal with a high priority. The Article 54 and 293 are explicitly devoted to monitoring and evaluation in our Constitution. To bring constitutional provisions into practice, National Planning Commission initiated formulation of M&E bill, and the bill was formulated in consultation with various stakeholders, government agencies and non-government sectors, and also the volunteer individual evaluator, and it was placed in the parliament. The bill is now at the National Assembly waiting for the approval of the parliament. That is the status as a person speaking on behalf of government and National Planning Commission. And also I have been requested by the organizers that I also give the account of where we are in terms of our situation. NPC is also closely working with the voluntary organizations for professional evaluation, academia, and other civil society organizations to improve and strengthen the system of performance on ground. Considering the importance of effective evaluation since its beginning, Government of Nepal through NPC has including monitoring and evaluation as its priority sector. With due emphasis on monitoring and evaluation, it has been capacitating the skills required for monitoring and evaluation of its own NPC staff as well as staff of the line ministries, not only on quantitative data accuracy, but also qualitative data analysis for assurance of information on equity, deeper inclusion, and transformation aspects of the human development. Human development impacts. NPC has a national body responsible for planning and also ensuring and overseeing the implementation of the national plans and programs, has been engaging in creating an enabling environment for monitoring and evaluation. Therefore, formulation and monitoring evaluation guideline and updating them to address the government, address the development issues in challenging contexts such as SDG 2030, climate change issues, and even more deeper into inclusivity has been its ongoing process, but not just saying JC now. JC, gender equality with, deeper inclusivity where we can address all the sectionality in specific. We developed and implemented first integrated national evaluation action plan, which was from 26 to 2020. And the second one, which is supposed to be coming out soon, 22 to 26, is in the process. We hope that we will give you a good news very soon. These were developed using highly participatory approaches involving all stakeholder groups, including BOPs. In addition, monitoring and evaluation has been an integral part of NPC's guidelines and Government of Nepal ministries for adoption of the emerging value-led development results and process in each of the periodic plans. And talking about NPC, it has also been engaged in getting a revised national evaluation code of conduct to promote an enabling environment so that the values of equity and the desired transformation can be ensured throughout the evaluation process by bringing in, especially we call in our participatory process ABC, the behavioral change of design. ABC means attitude, behavior, and culture. we definitely need to change our culture of thinking and talking and walking on talking. The demand for improving national monitoring and evaluation system processes of adoption and of NPC guidelines by all the sectoral ministry is very high. However, it also is a big challenge. National Planning Commission faces certain practical challenges such as limitation on staff capacity, inadequate resources to manage monitoring and evaluation of all the national programs, including frequent transfer of personnel. Of course, this is indeed a highly challenging, yet I believe that it's not impossible. Transformation has to happen and will happen, but we need to keep on with our good intention. To address such challenges, NPC has been receiving encouraging support from civil society organizations, community of evaluators, even development partners, and professionals. For that, I really extend my great appreciation. This evaluation conclave has a great significance to strengthen National Planning Commission's collaboration with the wider audience in evaluation process. I'm so happy to see that many of our colleagues are very much mixed with all of the community of evaluators, and they've owned it. Most importantly, this event is a part of regional and global effort on strengthening evaluation culture towards transformation of development results, for correcting our development approaches to address sustainable development impacts and achieving an inclusive results, so that we can claim on our successes as we have committed to have no one leaving behind, and we should ensure that definitely leaving no one behind has the impact. Currently, the development partner, AIS and UNDP project has been continuously organizing capacity building trainings for the National Planning Commission and ministerial staff on quality and M&E performances. This COE and NEPAL has also been active supporter along with many other organizations, namely Nepal Evaluation Society through COE Nepal's coordination. This activity must go on for another few years so that the government personnel can perform quality impacts in monitoring and evaluation by being not only adequately skilled, but also being motivated to adopt effective approaches, systems with passion for equity and transformation. If there is no passion, the mechanical change does not really mean so much. Therefore, we definitely need to work on ABC of evaluation, building attitude, behavior, and culture. And NPC needs wider networking also with the groups and networks of CSOs in order to be formulated, informed, updated on their actions and mission towards equity and transformative evaluation agenda. Therefore, I also urge the community of evaluators all over the world to really help us, support us to discuss very critically and frankly on what should be our approach. At the same time, how can we generate this culture of respecting people as equal development partners rather than recipients of the plans and programs. It is the high time to collaborate, cooperate, and work together to achieve the goal of no one leave behind, which is possible only through equity-based evaluation. And for this kind of conclaves that bring multi-stakeholders together to learn and share is very, very important. Once again, on behalf of Government of Nepal, and also from the core of my heart, I would like to extend a huge big gratitude and appreciation to the organizers as well as each one involved in this process. I can see my seniors, friends, and also my students and my students. So I would take this opportunity to thank you all and would end here. If there is any question, I'm here with you very freely. You can ask anything. Thank you very much. Thank you again for giving me this opportunity to share with my friends, colleagues all over the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Saloni Pradhan Singh, for your insightful opinion. And we were very fascinated to hear this story from the past on how the PRAs and RRAs started. And those days were so wonderful. And your experiences with Robert Chambers, who was the pioneer of participatory approaches in monitoring and evaluation. Dr. Chambers, if you are with us virtually, a warm regards from Nepal. And thank you, ma'am, for highlighting how and why the evaluation is important. Developing evaluation culture is important to us to achieve the sustainable development goal and the overall development of the country and people. And she also highlighted how Nepal and South Asia has been hit very hard by the pandemic, disasters, and more importantly, climate change. And the importance of evaluation for inclusiveness and equity are crucial, especially in the time of crisis. Before we move ahead, I would like to welcome and request Dr. Kiran Rupaketi, Joint Secretary, National Planning Commission, to take your respective seat. A warm welcome to you, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, let's give him a big applause. Now, as we proceed ahead with the inaugural session, may I take this pleasure to invite our chief guest, Honorable Dr. Ramkumar Fial, Member, National Planning Commission, for your remarks.
Thank you. Chairperson of the program, Dr. Ganapati Orja. Keynote speaker of the event, Honorable Saloni Pradhan Singh, Member of National Planning Commission, Member Secretary of National Planning Commission, esteemed guest on the dais, high-level government officials, distinguished participants, representatives from the organizers, student, scholar, businessmen, and all the concerns who are asked to join this great event today. I would like to say namaste to you all and very good morning. This program is a very high-level program in which country-level participants along with the global participants are virtually participated. So our distinguished guests, they have highlighted and pick up a very essential points on the theme to be discussed in this floor. So I'll try my best not to repeat the things that have already been explored in the floor and the ways how they have spoken. I would just like to keep few notes from their ideas and few of the points from my own as a representative of governments from National Planning Council. I think this conclave is very timely and relevant for M&E activities that plays an important role to ensure public accountability through successful implementation of development projects, plans, programs, and activities. And also, it supports to make the development process result-oriented and transparent to the all concerned peoples, government, and the stakeholders. I guess this gathering and a policy discuss is crucial to make monitoring and evaluations more effective as needed or as required or as demanded by the time and situation to make it more collaborative and coordinative among with the intergovernmental agencies, stakeholders, and rest of the society. In the sense that different agencies related to monitoring and evaluation are collaborated and they have opportunity to exchange information, sharing ideas, knowledge, experiences, and practices that can be implemented to other part of the world as a seed, as a knowledge, and that is the research which can be fully implemented in M&E. That result or a new knowledge of M&E is definitely a systematic investigations into the subject, into the program, into the process, into the working styles and attitudes of human capital and all the professionals to come into a new conclusion that will be a new knowledge, new idea, new model, which can be obtained through a good culture, good system of working, redesigning, revisiting of our things, which our secretary, joint secretaries, and keynote speaker already spoken. I also highlight and would like to focus this issue in this very esteemed gathering today. Actually, at all level of government, it is very essential to strengthen the feedback mechanism by reviewing the process, by observing the process, by inspecting the process, and by identifying the bottlenecks, hurdles, and the constant that has stopped going forward to our development process. So in this regard, this issue of equity of transformation and this August gathering is very significant, very wonderful, and I'm very much pleased and honored to be a part of this event this morning. I would like to thank all the organizers for providing me this wonderful opportunity to share my few words in the gathering. As spoken by our earlier speaker, and hopefully this issue can be also elaborated in the thematic sessions that can be discussed in the afternoon and might have already discussed yesterday and maybe tomorrow also will be discussed. There are so many problems in the issue of M&E, and they are common to almost all the developing countries, especially they are very common to the South Asian countries. For example, as spoken earlier, we have inadequate capacity to evaluate overall impact, effect, and sustainability of development policies, plan and programs intensive. We have also not given high priority for drafting and monitoring the medium-term, short-term, and long-term evaluation programs. They are to be included properly in the result frameworks of the plans. And also, there is some lack of interlinkage among the coordinating agencies, either horizontally or vertically. That is also to be considered in the days to come while we draft new programs and plans in evaluations process. Also, there is an inability to build the capacity of human resources involved in monitoring and evaluations due to the lack of technology, new knowledge, resources, finance. There are so many things included in it. And another lacking point with us is a reporting mechanism. We don't have a very straightforward, honest reporting mechanism that is to be also reformed, redesigned, and revisited. These are the things. Apart from that, as Nicholson highlighted, in many of the countries, there is still a crisis of data, especially due to the lack of disaggregated data. The monitoring and evaluation processes are in crisis. But in the case of our country, Nepal, we are quite rich. We have developed programs, we have continued our earlier programs and earlier activities, and we generated new data in the to support our federalism and based on our constitution and spirit of constitutional articles might be 54 and 273 or else we have generated the data through census, surveys, and so many studies we have been doing, and many of them are in pipeline. And also the new National Statistical Act has been approved and it is in effect. It will be effective in a few days. So these are the progress which we have gained, and we need to still reframe these all data and informations in order to see, in order to look, in order to design the final outcome that we intended to obtain in our goal of the periodic and long-term visions. Our case is quite different, which I also explores. We have also formulated monitoring and evaluation act, and is our earlier keynote speaker, honorable member, spoken. It is in the parliaments. Hopefully, it will get through soon once when we have new parliament. And there are so many other guidelines, working papers, research papers, which we have prepared. We have shared these all to our concerned agencies, sub-nationals, governments, local levels, development partners, communities, and all. So I think we can use those all information and we can make it better based on that baseline informations. Is MTC a supranational body which is responsible for overall monitoring and evaluation work of a country? We have been devoted to show it in reality and to materialize our all the plans and programs, but still it has not become in the way it has not obtained on the way how we have expected, but we keep on working and keep on doing things to make them better in the days to come. So on 15 plants also we have made a different separate chapter for monitoring and evaluation, and there are some certain goals, certain visions, objectives, strategies, and now the government is very much prepared on materializing that vision, like the governance reform through result-based monitoring and evaluation system is our main vision and motto on which we have been working. There are many things to say, but we are very much restricted with our time limit. I just would like to say finally the few words that is related to our overall data and the facts which we already explored. I don't need to speak more. So further, we have so many challenges beside this, all the progress we achieved. Monitoring and evaluation works is a continued phenomenon. It is a dynamic program. It is not a program-based activity. It is a process. So it should be kept on doing, and new reform, new design, new R&D is to be incorporated in it to address according to the need of time, need of hour. Then I think we can go ahead. In this context, we had a very good coordination with the development partners, other agencies, and the civil society, like Community of Evaluators South Asia, then many of the other volunteer professionals, organizations, they have supported us when we needed their support, insightful ideas and thoughts. So we will keep on continue doing this, and we anticipate working together in the days to come as well. Finally, the expectation from this complex, our expectation from this conclave is that it should also go towards the wider participants, wider stakeholders, and should be able to bring the thoughts and ideas from different scholars. Most importantly, this event is a part of regional and global effort on strengthening evaluation culture towards the transformation of development results for correcting our development approaches. So finally, I believe that this conclave will be able to discuss sufficiently in the above mentioned issues and agendas, which will come up with the new ideas of the methodologies, new approach, and new collaborative methods to find out basic device, common device that can be used to ensure making the quality evaluation report and capacity development of the agencies, government agencies, evaluators, and the stakeholders. With this short note, I wish this evaluation conclaves grand success. Thank you once again, distinguished guests, all the participants, and all the concerns of this event. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for your remarks, Honorable Mr. Ramkumar Fuyal, Member, National Planning Commission, and our chief guest today. I'm sure we all are enriched from his insightful thoughts and remarks. And thank you for reflecting the challenges and opportunities for Nepal and South Asia on the monitoring and evaluation, and also updating us on the undertakings of Nepal, NPC and the government of Nepal on monitoring and evaluation related policies and procedures. And indeed, it's very important. The new knowledge creation is very significant and important for us as we are in the process of reimagining and reinventing our society for equity and transformation in the time of crisis. Furthermore, we have come to almost the end, though this is not the end. I would like to invite Ms. Kanchan Lama, Chairperson, UAE Nepal, for your remarks.
Namaskar and good morning and good afternoon to all the audience over the world. And here we are physically attending to all. I say good morning. So I'm very much overwhelmed today to address, be proud and very fortunate to address an August gathering, and by addressing the chair of the session, Dr. Oja, and chief guest, Honorable Ram Kumar Primo, keynote speaker, Honorable Mrs. Solani Puran Singh, and all the other dignitaries, guests on the chair. I'm not going to repeat. I echo the address all did previously. And my dear audience who really joined us in this physical event, to invitation with all the enthusiasm. I can see high level of professionals, high level enthusiastic volunteers and students and from all the stake of life. At the same time, I address with my respect to all the audience over the world and echoing our keynote speakers' emotional note on Dr. Robert Chamber. I also remember him. I think Dr. Oja will also remember him. He is the not only the pioneer, but I remember in 1982-85, I have many friends here who were trained by Robert Chamber. And since then, we are very passionate and fond of participatory monitoring and evaluation. I thank all whoever remembered him today. I wish he is also participating in the session and join us. Saying that, I want to, thank all the dignitaries who spoke so well about, so clearly about the significance of evaluation for better evaluation for better development. That's all. If there is no better evaluation, there is no better development. It's very understandable. So I share with you a very practical story of our daily work. Now, currently, I'm working with Forest Extension Nepal as a principal investigator, where Dr. China works in the team the project name is Economic Empowerment of Women through Forest Solutions. So we are a small team of 8 members, but we have partners from different backgrounds. Some work on family forestry associations, some work for women's rights, and some work for developing the industrial development for it's called Federation of Entrepreneurs mostly in timber. So within that group, we have to develop activity planning. So when we do activity planning, what we do? First, after each activity, we reflect ourselves. What will we scale up? What will we scale up? That's evaluation. Since the beginning, we start thinking about what will we evaluate. as impact, change in power relationship between men and women from different intersectionality groups, between gender, not only gender, between different stakeholders from all the categories, which have already my previous speakers already explained so clearly about different categories. And I think that these disaggregated communities impact we want to evaluate. So why do you want to evaluate? Because we want to really produce some kind of sustainable change, which, as you said, in equity and from transformational region, objective. But what for? Because we want justice. Justice for everyone, not only the poor, but also for the rich, I think. Because as a civil, person, even if somebody is better, some woman or some man is better, but is he also being accountable to the evaluation of the country or his own behavior or her own behavior? So these are some aspects which we want to analyze when we do the planning of, our monthly or 3-monthly activity. Then our colleagues, sometimes we laugh at ourselves, what are you doing, talking about, why should we talk about it? But I think this guides it very well. This guides us, this makes us conscious of our attitude framing, our behavior, operational strategies, and our everyday, daily, even conscious being in language. How do we speak to others? How do we behave to others? It is so simple. But sometimes when we come to the, theoretical designing, we also talked about log frame, job planning. So many years we talked about that. Now we are changing the theory of change, but they are everywhere. And when we talked about log frame, we thought it is more technical, more limited to tangible results and benefits. But then we added a theory of change where we wanted to do some, analytical dimension for qualitative impact. So it is kind of challenge we are facing. Before it was very easy for monitoring, maybe for SWC especially, it was the whole monitoring framework was for kind of numbers. But now we do not talk about numbers only. We talk about what happened to his or her, not only poverty level, but relationship with their whole entire community, entire power groups, entire power relationships. So when we want to make some changes in the power relations without doing participatory approaches, we do not know who really benefited and whose voice we could capture. So I think it was very important, highlighting about participatory approaches today. And an important point was highlighted about federal and provincial local government responsibility. We have lots of opportunity to work with local government because they are now on the ground, and we can also work with ground level local government entity. But there, as pointed out, lacking of capacity. But in the capacity also, we think not only local government, but we ourselves, whoever is engaged in evaluation, monetary evaluation, we also have, set to assess our own credibility. Because am I prepared? Do I have passion for equity and transformation? There are some questions we always keep asking ourselves. Equity, it is easy to say, but I don't think that equity should replace gender. Gender relationship can be part of equity approach. But these are some things we need to learn more. We should be credible more and more, which I think for this kind of thing only, this kind of sharing and learning, we are here for Community of Evaluators Nepal, Community of Evaluators South Asia, Eval Partners USA. Thank you. Actually, this August gathering today is very, kind of diverse stakeholders here. And I think, it is not easy for us to bring all the dignitaries from national planning evaluation, but without your national planning evaluation present with us, working with us, or we working with National Planning Commission, we cannot dream of equity and transformative approaches in evaluation. This change. So this is not only challenge, but opportunity. And we also have UN agencies. There are lots of UN agencies effort into that. So this is really kind of opportunities for us now to grab and to work ahead. That's one thing. And another thing, this when we say power relationship is something I think we will have to discuss in the panels today very critically and more, in that will be there. And as you said, 2030 is only 8 years from now, and SDG will be jumping into another thing. It was first MDG, now it is SDG, opportunities. But still now I think we have to have more kind of investment in capacity building, which being echoed by other previous speakers. But I think I will stay from that. Because you see, when we do some designing of plan programs, what is the percentage of resources we allocate for monitoring evaluation? Not at all, not much. Is it 2%? Is it 3%? I think this is time we request NPC to also guide and SWC to guide on that, because it is something, we take monitoring evaluation very easily. It is not an activity like that. It is a part of the process. But without investing on the capacity building to match the increasingly emerging need, emerging changes, like now we emerging trend like equity and transformation, which requires really lots of training and capacity building, attitude change, behavioral change, all changing elements. And we human being, being human being, it is not easy for us to change ourselves more better without going some good training on that. And as mentioned, now we are in the digital world. Those are opportunities, but without giving skill training on that, it is difficult. So I think we can focus on local government and not only provincial and federal. And my emphasis is always strengthen the local government on that, capacity building at that level. Not only government palikas, but also all who are engaged in consultation with palikas, development agencies like maybe women rights organization, Dalit rights organization, IP organization, and others who are really into good coordination with the local government. If we want to see some really change taking place in better evaluation for better development, maybe the impact we can measure without the working on the local level. I think it will be difficult. So I don't want to longer my I did not speech actually, my sharing, but at the same time, I think I am also taking time. So I later end my note here, and from my heart, I really thank all for bearing with me, for listening to this. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ms. Kanchan Lama, for highlighting the complicated journey that we are undertaking for justice, equity, and transformation in the uneven playing fields that we are surrounded with, and also highlighting the collaboration with national planning commissions for monitoring and evaluation. Now, I would like to request the chairperson of the event today of the Evaluation Conclave 2022, Equity and Transformation, Evaluation in the Challenging Times, Dr. Ganapati Oja, Executive Board Member and immediate past Chairperson, COA South Asia, and Executive Board Member and former Chairperson, COA Nepal, and current advisor to COA Nepal, Dr. Ganapati Oja.
Very good morning. Chair of the ceremony, Kanchan Lama. Chief guest of the ceremony, Dr. Ram Kumar Payal, Honorable Member of the National Planning Commission. Keynote speaker, Ms. Saloni Pradhan Singh, Honorable Member of the National Planning Commission. And the other member of the other member and the staff of the National Planning Commission, Mr. Nicholas, and all participants, both participated in person as well as participating online globally. I'm very happy to see that this level of the participation is here in person. We are sometimes, doubtful whether we'll have 50, 60 participants or not, though our target was 100. But I'm happy to see here that the target has exceeded. And the concerns raised by the earlier speakers, including the chief guest and the keynote speakers and others, are very much relevant, very much practicable. That they are based on the problems, but they are doable problems. But to address them, as you mentioned, I agree with you that we need to do business differently, not as usual. Let me say something about the evaluation conclave. The evaluation conclave is a flagship program of the Community of Evaluators South Asia. As mentioned before, this is the 5th one, and we organized 4 before. One first in Delhi, second and third in Kathmandu, and the 4th in Thimphu, Bhutan. Huh? Yeah, but that's why I told second and third in Kathmandu. Yeah. And the third one was very important in that we were able to organize that conclave in the Parliament of Nepal. It was coincided with the International Year of Evaluation. The culmination of the International Year of Evaluation was held in Nepal, and it was held in the Parliament of Nepal. And that time, whole Parliament was with us, and also whole government machinery was with us. Even then Prime Minister participated 2 times in our program that time. So in that event, we also declare the Eval Agenda 2020, which is still, this evaluation is still being guided by this Eval Agenda, which were developed in Nepal, Kathmandu, in 2015. And This year, the evaluation theme, equity and transformation, evaluation in challenging times, was chosen under the context of increased inequalities and also the increased complexity because of the increased nature-made disasters and also the increased man-made crisis. In this 3-day conclave, organized in 5 countries, altogether there are 12 panels, 13 workshops, 7 keynote speeches, and 1 round table. Let me just share one story. Maybe Nicholas, it will be useful to you to consider. I went to evaluate a project in one of the districts in Nepal. And in the focus group discussion, I asked them, what are the changes that this very project has brought in your life? They replied, see, sir, before this project, we were like a dome. If we saw some visitors, we used to hide inside the house. We used to be afraid to speak. Now, we can speak with anyone confidently. This is the change, they told. I recall that I went there in 2002 also. It was before 17 years. And I asked them, see, I came here in 2002 also, and you were some of the respondents that time as well. And you also said the same thing. See, they told the same thing. That time was that they told, see, sir, we were like a dog. So we were afraid of speaking with anyone. So we are now confident to speak with anyone. That was the same thing. So what is the change? So, here is the role of evaluator. So the evaluator should not, blindly believe what respondents are telling. They need to go in depth. They need to dig out more. And that's why experience counts, you see. This is one story. So maybe it's useful for you to collect the data. Yeah. Another story. I had an Israeli with me. He wanted to see some fields in Dhading. And we went through Dharke. And we stopped, we started walking from Dharke, and there is a small river in between to cross. When we reached to the river, then the Israeli guy stopped over there, looked at the river. It was small rivulet. Looked at the water, looked at the land, looked up in the sun, and looked at me. And told, I do not understand why Nepal is poor. You have everything. You have resources. They say, for water, they say resource, okay? You have resources. You have land. Israel, in Israel, they don't have good land, see, fertile land. And you have energy. When he was looking at sun, then literally you have energy. And when he looked at me, then he thought that you have people, because in Israel people are less, So you have everything. I do not understand why Nepal is poor. So what do you think? Is Nepal poor? The question for you, for every one of you. We have everything, but we are poor. Why? Keep in mind, and you may think why we are poor. This answer could be a $1 million answer for the development of the country. And when we talk of the development, as the speaker before told, the development does not move in a straight line. It does not obey the rule of linearity. It is not systematic also. Rather, it is systemic and also dynamic. It's not static, dynamic, changing always. Therefore, the method and approaches that we develop based on linearity and prefixed indicators do not address properly the whole system under which development works. It is more so when complexity is compounded by crisis. Not only in development, this also applies in evaluation. As evaluation is also a part of the development. Therefore, we need to do evaluation differently. We need to look not only at a single intervention, but also its connection with other components. Similarly, we need to look at the dynamic context, the intervention operating under a specific and the changing context. We also need to look at the arrangement made to address leaving no one behind, as we are in the SDG era. The newly defined OECD DAC criteria in the evaluation are to some extent better to address these complexities and diversities. Particularly the coherence and the design within the relevance criteria. But when we talk of coherence, we have to talk of internal coherence and the external coherence. What is generally found is internal coherence is generally poor, weak. Even within the same organization, the different divisions do not coordinate properly. They go on their own way. Even the UN, within the UN system also we found this thing. If the internal coherence is not strong, how can we expect that the external coherence will generate substantial synergy? And also we need to look at the design more carefully and critically. Which interest is the intervention going to serve? Does the design ensure proper engagement with all relevant stakeholders, particularly the vulnerables, marginalized, leaving no one behind? Also, the flexibility of the intervention is highly important, as is gender and other cross-cutting issues such as in environment, governance, human rights, and so on. Does it consider the geographical niches and cultural sensitivity? Equally important for evaluators to assess is who designed the intervention and how. This is also very important. And another issue is generally the development program and project, they use the uniform methodology for everywhere. The methodology is global. They take a little consideration of contextuality. And the intervention are carried out in a easily reachable areas. Sometimes they say that, okay, we go to the district where the human development index is very weak. Yes, the projects are in this district, but where in the district is the question. Mostly, they are in the periphery of the district headquarters. In the periphery of the district headquarters, the projects are overcrowded. But when you go a little away, the place is empty. Even if there are some projects in the remote areas, the change agent, they rarely go there. And also the priority of the donor and government and civil society organization is to the area where the less resources is needed, rather than more resources is needed. In the remote areas, with the people who were left behind before, you need to put more resources. Because of the efficiency issue, this project do not want to go to the remote areas. So we have to look also in this aspect very carefully, also in evaluation. And let me not go beyond this now. And I wish that this conclave will be fruitful to every one of us. And I wish your comfortable stay and good day. I would thank again all distinguished guests, including chief guest, keynote speakers, and all participants here and globally. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Wojak, for your very insightful thoughts and remarks. And thank you also for highlighting and reminding us that Evaluation Conclave is a flagship program of COE South Asia, and also with the beautiful stories and a very important question to us, why is Nepal poor? I think it is a very heavy question for us to think. Now we are almost at the end, not totally at the end, but we are towards the closure. And I personally would like to thank our eminent speakers and dignitaries for your very insightful thoughts and remarks. But for the formal vote of thanks, I would like to invite Dr. Susila Chatterjee Nepali, the Vice Chairperson of COE Nepal, to thank every one of you.
Thank you, respected chair of this. Respected chair of this event, chief guests, keynote speakers, special guests of speakers, high-level government officials, COE South Asia members, BOPE members, ladies and gentlemen participating here physically and virtually. I am honored to give my vote of thanks on behalf of COE Nepal. First, to the inaugural ceremony members and guest of honor, our chief guest, Honorable Dr. Ramkumar Puel, Member, National Planning Commission, who graciously accepted our invitation and support for this auspicious 5th COE South Asia Conclave 2022. No doubt, without the support of National Planning Commission, we, the BOPEs in general, could not have been in the state to be part of this event for equity and transformative change. Honorable Dr. Puel has not only been supportive in giving his feedback in the preparation of National Evaluation Action Plan, but to guide National Planning Commission to ensure that evaluation culture is institutionally strong and government are made accountable. Thank you, sir, for giving your insight in equity and transformative evaluation, how this can be achieved through collaboration and cooperation as collective action. We are also honored to have our keynote speaker, Honorable Member Ma'am Saloni Pradhan Singh, Member, National Planning Commission, and her experience in the sector of development to participatory action research on development, economic empowerment, and democratic decentralized governance programs at international, regional, and national committee level for several development agencies, including donors, have been an asset to this country. We are grateful for her keynote speech encouraging us in the sector of conducting evaluation in the sector of equity and transformation that could further enhance our governance system, which needs transformation. Thank you, Honorable Ma'am, for giving us the insight on the evaluation and indicating that we need to change our attitude, behavior, and culture. No doubt, we do miss Dr. former Vice Chair, National Planning Commission, Dr. Jagdish Chandra Pokhrel, who is an advisor for Committee of Evaluators South Asia. We will hear his closing remarks, though he is not here present. And despite his health issues, we are proud to have his say on equity and transformative evaluation and importance of evaluation in Nepal. Sir, thank you very much. I would like to thank Praveen Chitrakar, our General Secretary, for his opening remarks and encouraging words for the success of this workshop. It is a great opportunity to hear profound special guest speakers, especially from National Planning Commission, Member Secretary Kewal Prasad Bandari, sir, for highlighting that challenges are there to mitigate poverty and going through such crises that are yet to be measured. The crisis around the globe has made the vulnerable to cope with the tough times and financially deprived to get the maximum benefit. Thank you, sir, for giving us an insight on the constitutional rights as a citizen, but we need massive transformation for us to use the rights. A new financial threat emerged as a global crisis, and this has to overcome, and we need to work as things go on. Thank you, sir, for showing us what we need to do for us to comply with the SDGs, graduate from LDCs, And for this is not business as usual that needs to be done, and it has to be reformed. We would like to thank you, Chief MNE Division, Mr. Dhaniram Sarma sir, who indicated the theme of this conclave proves the significance of this workshop. National Planning Commission is the key agency in handling evaluation activities, and we need to strengthen the evaluation culture. MNE bills has been submitted to the Parliament, which will provide the legal basis for evaluation. Thank you, sir, for highlighting on having evaluation guideline and national action plan, which we further need to enhance the evaluators community as well. Lack of response, culture, and equality are some key issues, and how we respond to restructuring our policies were highlighted. And it was indicated that we need to work together for collective action with the WOPIs. We would like to thank Mr. Nicholas Machok, Census Coordinator, UNFPA, Kathmandu, for highlighting the importance of census and progress of measuring SDGs. The importance of having disaggregated data for us to ensure there are opportunities for us to show the evidence of change. Still, there are challenges, and we need to capacitate and build on what we have to support the government to enhance their capacity for good governance and support MNE system as well. We would like to thank Assistant Director Rajendra Upretisa, Social Welfare Council, for sharing the insight on how social welfare has been playing key role in MNE. Due to the COVID-19, it was not possible to conduct regular evaluations, and now it has been continued. Again, thank you for your wish for a great success of this conclave, sir. Dr. Ramesh Tuladhar, advisor and founder chairperson, thank you for your opening remarks. And I would like to thank COE NEPAL, our chair, advisor, Ganpati Oza sir, giving us an insight where we stand and with the story where we want to go. So are we still dumb, or we are confident enough to say evaluators are needed, finance is needed for evaluation? I would like to thank sincerely Ms. Kanchan Lama, our chair, for giving us this opportunity and encouraging us all the time to be part of this event. I've been busy, but despite my busyness, I would like to thank for South Asia Committee, Nepal and South Asia, to give me the opportunity to give the vote of thanks. I would like to thank you all for your support for this event, playing the key role, providing your valuable inputs. I cannot go without saying tons of thank you to the chair, the vice chair of South Asia technical team, the online and the physical participants. Without them, their support, COE Nepal could not have done much. We are grateful to the hotel management, Hard Place, advisors of COE Nepal, communication support team, the press, and our precious volunteers and organizers of Nepal. Once again, thank you all for being part of the COE South Asia Conclave 2022, and hope you will join us throughout our events for this day. I would like to request all the participants to give a round of applause to the organizing committee for them to coordinating and getting this workshop get going. So COE South Asia management team, thank you for providing the bursary that most of the participants were able to be part of this conclave. Thank you, everyone. And let us give a big hand to our master of ceremony of this inaugural session, Melinda Lakshmi ma'am and Dr. Srijana Pada, who did a great job. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nepali, for thanking every one of us here. And now we have come almost to the end of the formal inaugural session of the Evaluation Conclave 2022. And as I shared before in the very beginning of the program, we have Dr. Jagdish Chandra Pokhrel, who is the Vice Chairperson of COE South Asia, an advisor COE Nepal, and he is also a former Vice Chairperson of National Planning Commission. He has sent us his best wishes and concluding remarks. We will play the video clip soon, but before that, I have few remarks and notices to make. And ladies and gentlemen, may I request you all to join us in creating the memories. We will have a formal photo shoot here after the concluding session, and I kindly request everyone to be in the photo frame. And after the photo shoot, we will disperse for 15 minutes tea break, which will be followed by panel sessions and the skill development workshops. Both the sessions will be parallel, so I would like to request the participants to follow their interest and get to the session of their choice. But then I would like to share that we have very limited seats available in each session, so there will be a first come first serve basis. So please hurry up and grab your seats. And for the skill development workshop, I have a notice for the members of Young and Emerging Evaluators. The Young and Emerging Evaluators, please be assigned to the team that you are already assigned to, that is in the team Young and Emerging Evaluators, that will be in the event space 3 in the first floor, and rest of the others can join the sessions of their interest in the skill development workshops that will be followed by the lunch. So before I request our technical team to play the video from Dr. Jagdish Chandra Pokhrel, I would like to personally thank every one of you and thank you the organizers for this opportunity to be the host of this morning. And I wish best for the Evaluation Conclave 2022. I wish you a very insightful learning experience. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and namaste. And technical team, please play the video clip from Dr. Jagdish Chandra Pokhrel, Vice Chairperson of COE South Asia and advisor to COE Nepal, and a former Vice Chairperson of National Planning Commission. And thank you, everyone, and namaste.
Dear members of Community of Evaluators South Asia, all the participants from all these 5 participating countries all over the world, welcome to Conclave 2022. After almost 3 years of difficulties and a couple of efforts that we made, eventually this has become possible to host the event in a hybrid mode. We are very happy that our effort to simultaneously conduct the event in 5 capital cities of South Asian countries is something for us to remember. Bhutan, Thimphu, New Delhi, Bangladesh, Dhaka, Colombo, Sri Lanka, Kathmandu, Nepal. We all work together to make this event happen. I personally thank the organizing committee, particularly led by our chairperson, Shaladrai Solomon, and the Conclave director, Mr. Ranjit, and of course, Rajiv Nandi, and other members who were actively involved either in subcommittees or in organizing main committees. It has become possible for us to demonstrate that we can work together while stationed in different parts of the region. We believe that evaluation is not just a tool, rather it is a philosophy, governance philosophy, development philosophy. which very much builds on the experience, lessons, and knowledge developed in the region and also globally. We are very proud to have organized this event. One event each country and labeling it as a event of the country. I personally was supposed to chair the inaugural session of Kathmandu event. However, because of my health, actually I was stricken by dengue recently, and I still feel weak. Therefore, I could not be physically present in the event. However, I would like to thank our chief guest, Honorable Member of National Planning Commission, Ma'am Singh, other panelists, and my co-chair, Madam Kanchan Lama, for the relentless effort that they have put together. Especially, I would like to thank the community of evaluators, Nepal, as a country organizing team who have put together in such a short time, such effective way to communicate the whole idea conclave. Dr. Pravin Chitrakar, Dr. Sushila Chatterjee, among others, are very much commendable. We appreciate their work. I'm sure in the next 3 days that deliberations will be taking place in different part of the region. More valuable, insightful issues will come out, and we'll be able to further raise the level and profile of community of evaluators, South Asia. I thank you very much for your cooperation, your presence. I'm looking forward to working together in the future. Thank you, and I wish you good luck. Namaste.